G'day there. Last month I shared a video about what makes a great landscape image. And I talked about principles like grabbing the viewer's attention, drawing them in, telling a story, and building emotion within an image. I mentioned in that video how important composition was to each one of those principles. And I've said several times before on this channel that the best way of improving your landscape images is by developing your composition skills. Now, this is not going to be just another video on composition tips. There's plenty of those out there. Instead, I'm going to talk about what you can do to develop your own composition skills, so you can improve your ability to find great compositions when you're out in the field. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, so if you need a website, a domain, or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace and use the discount code AndrewMarr. There's heaps of videos out there that share composition tips. The problem is you need a little bit more than just a few tips to be any good at composition. And if I go back to my teaching experience, we learnt that for anybody to effectively learn or develop a skill like composition, you need a good explanation, quality examples, and plenty of experience. So let's talk about the sorts of things that you can do right now and to put into action each day to develop your ability to find compelling compositions. Now, when you're taking on a skill like composition, it's really important to find a really good, informative explanation about composition skills. And as I said before, there's plenty of websites and videos out there that share composition tips. But there's a second part to a really good explanation that often gets missed, and that's explaining the impact composition has in an image. This deeper look at composition allows you to build a better understanding of the effect that composition has in a photo, and importantly, when and how to apply certain compositions. It's not just the what, it's the when, the how, and the why. So how do you access information like this? As well as the video that I shared last month that I mentioned, I also posted a video last year where I discussed 12 compositional techniques and talked through how each one can enhance an image. Also, my mate Adam from First Man Photography a few weeks ago shared an excellent video explaining the role of shape and form in the composition of an image that he was capturing. It's definitely worth checking out as he explains the impact the composition has on the image really well. You'll learn a lot. Tell him I said hi in the comments of his video. I'll leave a link to all of these plus a bunch of other helpful resources in the description of this video if you want to check it out. Now, while you can start to get a grasp of an idea or a skill when it's being explained to you, you don't really develop a deeper understanding until it gets demonstrated. And that's the power of quality examples. Good examples will show how a skill, in this case a composition technique, has been applied. There's actually quite a lot that you can pick up from analysing good quality examples of compositions being used in different scenes and achieving different results and effects. So if you can spend just a couple of minutes looking at how another photographer has composed a scene, identifying the composition techniques that they've used and how those composition choices have worked in the image, you'll start to build a really strong knowledge of how composition techniques can be applied. The more examples of different scenes you examine, the broader your understanding will become as well. And you begin to appreciate the subtle impacts that a composition can have on the structure, the story, and the emotion within a scene. So I encourage you to spend just a few minutes analysing one or two shots each day from your favourite landscape photographer. Now, Instagram is a great resource for this. So as you're scrolling through your feed and there's an image that stands out to you, just take a few minutes to not only appreciate the image, but also examine how the photographer has composed the shot. Look for lines and shapes that they've created in the photo and how your eye is guided through the image. Identify which composition techniques that they've used. How have they used composition to create structure or order within the image? And what part of the story or emotion has been enhanced through the composition that they've used? Make sure you give yourself a chance to look beyond what's obvious. How have they simplified the scene or minimised distraction? What have they used to add depth or drama to the photo? And can you recognise the structure that they've created? Now, if you come across an image but you don't have time right there and then to analyse it, or you want to save some of these examples so that you can refer back to them later, Instagram has a great feature that will let you do this. When you find an image that you want to save, at the bottom right-hand corner of the image, tap and hold the bookmark icon, and then choose the collection you want to save it to. To create a collection, just tap the plus sign and then enter the name of your new collection. When you want to go back and have a look at the images that you've bookmarked, go to your profile page, tap the hamburger icon in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and tap Saved from the menu. And then tap the collection that you want to open up. While you're on Instagram, make sure you connect with me over at Andrew_Marr. Now, before we get into this last strategy, which I think is probably going to help your composition skills the most, I just want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. When I was looking around to start my website, I wanted something that was simple to set up, it looked great, and was hassle-free, and I went with Squarespace. I immediately loved their templates. Each one had a unique feel, but they all have a simple, elegant style. Once you've selected your template, you can customize it to look the way that you want. The templates are responsive, so images look great on mobile and desktop. And when you create a page, you can choose a layout and then just drag and drop your content across. It's very straightforward, no need for any coding. So you can set up a great looking website with your images very, very easily. Squarespace takes care of everything else as well, including hosting, all the platform updates. You can even get a domain through them if you need one. So head on over to squarespace.com for your free trial that will give you heaps of time to set up your website. And when you are ready to launch, make sure you go to squarespace.com/Andrew Marr to get 10% off your first purchase. Final strategy to developing your compositional skills is experience. This is where you find opportunities to apply what you know, to try out different composition techniques on different scenes, to get creative, to take risks, to try and break those rules. But most importantly, to reflect and learn what works. Now, it would be too easy for me to say that you need to get out and shoot more landscapes. While it would be helpful, for most of us, it's just not practical because we don't have the opportunity. For you to significantly improve your compositional skills, you should practice your composition pretty much every day, or at least quite frequently. So how are you going to practice your composition every day? Well, here's what I did. I commute on the train to my day job. I'd get off the train 1 or 2 stops away from my destination and walk the rest of the way to work. Not only is this good exercise, but I found lots of scenes to shoot with just my iPhone. You see, the purpose is to practice your composition, so it doesn't have to be with a DSLR or mirrorless camera, and it doesn't have to be landscapes. I would just shoot ordinary scenes. The more mundane, the better, because it was a good challenge for my composition and creativity. Over the course of a year, I committed to posting an image from my commute to my Instagram feed every day. This was just to make sure that I practiced regularly. If you go back to my earlier posts on Instagram, you can check them all out there. You'll notice that I was shooting a lot of city or urban scenes as if they were landscapes, and probably applying far too many filters. The final image isn't that important. It's the process of practicing and applying your compositional skills. If you don't have a commute, then you can use a daily walk with your dog or perhaps a lunchtime break. It really doesn't have to be long though. Just 10 to 15 minutes every day is going to be so beneficial. Out of all of the suggestions that I've shared in this video, this one by far is going to make the biggest difference in improving your composition skills. While there are some people that have a natural aptitude for composition and find it a little easier, with a bit of work, composition is definitely something that can be learnt by anyone with this approach. I hope you found some of these suggestions helpful. If you did, please give the video a like. I hope it's given you an idea of what you could put in place to help improve your own composition skills. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.